Oh, I love it. I love all the red, white, and blue I see today. You guys look great. You look like you're ready to celebrate Veterans Day, right? All right. Well, good morning to all of our staff members, and good morning to all of you watching today, and good morning to all of our honored guests, our veterans who will be watching today. To those watching, we do regret that we are unable to welcome you to Northwood for an in-person program, as now has become a favorite Northwood tradition, but we are grateful that we can still host this modified program. And it is indeed our honor and our privilege to honor our heroes, our veterans, through this Northwood Veterans Day program. To begin our program, we would like to call forward second grader Tate Barker, and Tate will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So at this time, boys and girls, without talking, can you please rise, and we'll turn and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks. Thank you, Tate, and thank you, boys and girls. A big portion of our program is our boys and girls performing patriotic songs that they have been working on with Mrs. Messmer. So at this time, when I tell you, I will ask for the second graders, when I tell you, to please stand and face Mrs. Messmer in the back when I tell you, as second graders will be performing the patriotic song, America. At this time, second grade only, please stand, turn and face the back, and find Mrs. Messmer. Second grade, please turn and be seated quietly. Thank you. Well, second grade, that was very good. Thanks for getting us started. That was awesome. Well, our children are learning and growing in their understanding and meaning of what Veterans Day is. And I consider Veterans Day a very teachable moment, a very valuable lesson, an important life lesson. So at this time, I'd like to address all of our boys and girls. So to all of our students, you may not know it, but today is one of my favorite days of the year, Veterans Day. Today is the day we get to gather and celebrate a holiday. So I'd like to talk about that holiday. It isn't Thanksgiving, even though it is a time to give thanks. And it isn't the 4th of July or Independence Day, even though it is a time to celebrate our freedom. And it isn't Valentine's Day, even though it's a time to think about love. And it isn't Christmas, even though we all have been given a gift, and that gift is the gift of freedom. So today, the day that we celebrate today, Veterans Day, is a day when we honor and celebrate the men and women who have served in our military. You see, boys and girls, it takes a very special person to be a veteran. These soldiers have defended our country. They may have fought. They may have been wounded to save others and to protect our country. They have made possible all of the freedoms and all of the gift of freedoms that we enjoy today. So we also honor all of those men and women who have died for the cause of freedom. It's simply a time for us to say thank you for all the sacrifices that they have made. It's a time to think about the freedoms that we enjoy because they were willing to serve. And it's a time to think about love, the love they showed for their country. So, boys and girls, we know what Veterans Day is. So now, how do we celebrate Veterans Day? Well, I'll tell you, some people on Veterans Day will treat it just like any other day. They will go about their business. They might go to the mall, or they might go to the movies. They might go grocery shopping. They might do whatever they choose. But you see, they can do whatever they choose because of the veterans. So right now, I'd like to suggest some better ways that we might recognize and celebrate Veterans Day, more appropriate ways we can celebrate Veterans Day. The first thing you might do, boys and girls, you might simply fly a flag in your yard. And I'll bet on Veterans Day, when you look around, you'll see flags all over the place. And that's just recognizing our veterans. Other ways you might celebrate Veterans Day. You might simply spend some time saying a prayer. You could say thanks to God for those who served our country. You might even say a prayer for our veterans. You might ask your parents or grandparents what Veterans Day means to them. Or better yet, if you know or see a veteran, simply say thank you. Thank you for your service. And that means so much to our veterans. You know, boys and girls, whenever I see a veteran, whether it's Veterans Day or any day of the year, I might see a veteran wearing a black hat that says that they're a veteran or a shirt that says they're a veteran. I always walk over, shake their hand, look at them in the eyes, and say thank you for your service. And they appreciate that. And I would encourage all of you to do that, not just on Veterans Day, but any day when you see a veteran. It shows them how much we appreciate them, and it's the right thing to do. So finally, Veterans Day is a day we take very seriously, but that doesn't mean it's a time to be sad. It doesn't mean it's a time that we are sad about it. It's just simply a time that we get to celebrate the occasion. So we want to be happy that we get the privilege and honor of celebrating our veterans. So speaking of celebrating our veterans, I'd like to do that. I'd like to continue to celebrate our veterans. So at this time, when I tell you, I will be asking our first graders to stand without talking and face Mrs. Messmer as our first graders get ready to sing when the flag goes by. First graders, looks like we're ready to go. Thank you, first grade. Nice job, first grade. I'm very impressed. Well, second grade, you did a fabulous job singing, and first grade, you did a fabulous job singing. And at this time, we would like to continue and challenge our kindergartners. So at this time, kindergartners, can you please stand quietly? And we'll face Mrs. Messmer as our kindergartners sing, "I'm Proud to Be an American." Well, kindergarten, I'm very impressed. Awesome job. I can tell you've been working very hard with Mrs. Messmer. Nice work. Well, boys and girls, Veterans Day is usually primarily a tribute to our American living veterans, and we observe it more of as a celebration than a sad remembrance, but it's always appropriate to include a moment of silence, a moment of respect for those who gave their lives for their country. So at this time, I would like to invite Hoover High School senior Spencer Fry to please come forward. And boys and girls, we will be observing a moment of silence, followed by taps, and this is to honor all of those veterans who gave all. So boys and girls, without talking, I'd like you to please stand, face Spencer and the flag, and let's observe a moment of silence followed by taps. Thank you, Spencer. Please be seated. Well, boys and girls, we know that our purpose today is to honor our veterans, so we'd like to continue to honor our veterans, right? So at this time, all of our boys and girls, that's kindergarten, first grade, and second grade, we're all going to be joining together. We're going to stay seated. and we're going to salute our veterans. So we ask all the boys and girls to please join us in giving our attention to the screen behind me as we all sing, "Thank You, Soldiers." Well, boys and girls, once again, you did a fabulous job with that song, and I'm so impressed. Thank you very much. And speaking of thank yous, as you've learned by now, I believe in thanking our veterans. And I believe that you have something to say that you'd like to say to the veterans as well. So on the count of three, we'll all say thank you, veterans. 1, 2, 3. And we thank you for your service. Well, boys and girls, speaking of thank yous, I would like to thank all of you for your tremendous Vike behavior today, for the respect that you showed today, for your listening that you showed today, and for your appreciation for all the veterans that we've showed today. So I thank all of you for your great behavior. I'd also like to thank our Veterans Day Committee, who helped to make today possible for all of us. They helped to plan and coordinate the event today, so I'd like to say thank you. And at the end, we'll give a round of applause, boys and girls. But right now, I'd like to say thank you to Mrs. Messmer, to Mrs. Wiley, Mr. Thomas, Mrs. Patton, Mrs. Bremer, and Mr. Hobe, And also thank you to all the teachers for all their efforts to decorate the hallways, all their efforts to teach the boys and girls about veterans during the classroom. So at this time, boys and girls, let's all say thank you to the Veterans Committee. Say thank you. Awesome. All right, thank you, boys and girls. And lastly, to our veterans, we thank you for your service. We thank you that you've spent some time today with us. May God bless you, veterans, and may God bless the USA.